Welcome to the first edition of the Kansas City Royals Prospect Profile, a mini-series we do here within the Royals franchise where we go over prospects from AA Arkansas up to AAA Omaha. And the first edition this year goes to Nick Pratto, a first base prospect currently in Northwest Arkansas with the Naturals. Nick Pratto was the 2017 first-round pick for the Kansas City Royals. He was 14th overall. He is currently 19 years old. He bats lefty and throws lefty. Stands 6'1", 195 pounds, and he was drafted out of California, more specifically straight out of high school, Huntington Beach High School in Huntington Beach, California. The main rundown of Pratto's game is that he will hit for average and power. They're both around the same when it comes to the attributes. He has great vision, especially for a 19-year-old. He's got decent discipline, which will just keep going up as he works through the leagues and as he gets older. So his vision and discipline both have the potential to be quite high and be like, not Joey Votto-esque, but definitely an above average to good vision and discipline. He's also more athletic than your typical first baseman. He's not going to be like a Paul Goldschmidt type where he's going to be out there stealing bases, but he's definitely not a typical big, sluggish first baseman. He's got some pep in his step, he's able to make athletic plays, and he's definitely got a decent arm when it comes to being a first baseman. All of that makes sense when you take into account that he did draw some interest as a pitcher, so he definitely does have a strong arm, but they did ultimately draft him as a first baseman, and that was what most teams looked at him as, because they decided that he was probably one of the best pure prep hitters in the 2017 draft class. And it makes sense that they would think that because he does have a pretty good swing, and then he also has a lot of bat speed. He is projected to be quite a decent hitter at the major league level, even though he did slump a bit when he came over to professional baseball. In the minor leagues, he started off, of course, with rookie ball as an 18-year-old coming out of high school. He was in the Arizona League, and he only hit 4 home runs in 52 games. His OPS was 745. He had a 414 slugging, a 330 OBP. So, I mean, definitely not the worst he could have done, but definitely not what you want to see from a first baseman especially. But despite the not ideal 52 games to start his career in rookie ball, he is still looked at as a pretty good potential. In our game, he is reflected as a B potential, 61 overall, and he can even play some right field if needed to. I'm sure he can play left field if we really wanted him to. But first base is where he is probably going to be best suited for us, especially since we have Lucas Duda, who is only on a 1-year deal, and I don't really plan on bringing him back for a second year. So Nick Pratto, even though he's 19 years old, and it's probably more realistic that he'll be MLB ready by 2020 or 2021, he could possibly be on the roster next year as a first baseman, even the starting first baseman. Not on opening day, I wouldn't say, but it's possible that he could be a solid piece for us at first base. Maybe halfway through next year, maybe a couple months into next year, or maybe I don't call him up. Maybe we get a stopgap and let him develop some more down in the minors, and he's not ready till 2020, and we just let him develop and keep maturing down in the minor leagues instead of being thrusted straight into a starting position at the big league level. As far as his player comparison goes, I'm just going to go straight up with what I see on most of the prospect profile or scouting reports that I see scattered throughout the world of baseball on this guy, and that is one or the other of Brendan McKay, who was the number 4 overall pick in the 2017 draft class, also was looked at as a pitcher and a first baseman. He's actually playing in the minors with his respective team as a two-way player right now, and then he's also compared to Joey Votto, which I'm not sure if he'll ever quite get to the Joey Votto level when it comes to walking and whatnot, but I could definitely see the bat being around Joey Votto. And before we wrap this up, a nice little fun fact about Pratto. He was actually in the 2011 Little League World Series, but he wasn't just that. He walked it off with a single to beat Japan and bring home the championship for his California Little League in 2011. So with that being said, that's going to wrap things up here for this edition of the Kansas City Royals Prospect Profile. I've been your host, Jerseyborn, and I'm saying goodbye.
Don't call me stupid, that ain't the way my name pronounced. Don't call me stupid, I got too many hoes right now. Poolside in Houston, tryna see if Beyonce will take me for adoption. Broke ass rich suburbs, a civilian shot in third ward, we just by the fountain.